just finishing off a recipe for giving student paper feedback. We've now made it to the stage when you have looked at all the errors, be they to do with communicative competence in general, be it to do with knowledge of the communicative situation, be they about how the structure, what the structure is like, and or be they about grammar and vocabulary. And here it was important that you gave a full account of the errors identified and you explain what the errors were, what rules, grammatical rules that there are to learn and so on and so forth. But when you then have the whole picture, you work out the overall assessment for yourself. In a way, I would advise you to work with two versions. There's your professional teacher version where you identify each and every error. Look, you give a complete, picture of what the performance is like. What's the communication like? What's the structure like? What's the grammar vocabulary like? Okay, and which medals and missions would I then have in mind for that student? Okay, where is the student's zone of proximal development? Okay, and what that is. We can see that the student gets something right here, but not all the time. Oh, that means that this is something that the student is currently working with. And here, we could tell him just, a little rule so that they could easily make it to the next level with that one. So you prepare 1, 2 or 3 missions to the student, and you try to take his zone of proximal development into account. You try not to overburden the student on one hand, but you also like to challenge him or her enough. So there's has to be a balance between effort, motivate. I mean, you like them to get enough of a challenge to stay motivated, right? They should feel that this is serious business, that you take them seriously and don't and give them, as I said, give them missions that are meaningful relative to their intellectual capacity and so forth. Right. Right. So on that basis, you then work out a student version, and here you find out, okay, which areas you like to feature in the student paper as examples of the missions that you're gonna send the students on. Right. Okay. So if you have area types, you might look at here. You like the student to focus. You point that out, and you tell the student in the written feedback on the paper, oh, I've identified a few errors which are like this, and the way to work with these errors is like this. But before you actually come up with a mission, there should be a medal for every mission, as I just told you. But before that, because we want to keep this as real communication, we want you to give authentic communicative feedback on the content as I just showed you. Right? Okay. And now the medals. So because you have missions in mind, say, okay, what would be the medal leading up to the mission? And let me give you an example. We have an example, I go to school. Here it's quite obvious the student should be praised. Praise is saying this is wrong. No, it's not wrong. Because it's not all wrong, because here the student seems, if you look at the data, to have got the ed past ending right. But but he needs to work on that being irregular verbs. So you praise the students, of course, of getting the ed suffix right. It's very good that you know that if we use the ed suffix in the past, and we use the ed ending, or how you want to tell them. You choose a wording that will make sense to the student, of course. And then you say, okay, next step is for you to get to know that there are in fact verbs that do not take the ed ending in the past. They're not regular, and you can find some of them in the dictionary. And the way to find what the past ending is, it's like this or that. Okay, so you give them clear structure and execution so that they can move on. And then of course you might end up with like motivation, using smileys or something, saying good job, so far. But of course, shouldn't praise too much. It should be praised that it's fair.